Where is the live stream tonight? Why did YT not notify me? I searched the net over and thought I found your stream. Instead, I clicked another and you was gone. All right, you gotta have some fun, right? And if you're wondering about the bowling pin instead of a pitchfork, it's because Jason's been picking on me about bowling. So I figured do something a little bit different. Of course, like I've said before, my dad always told me I should sing solo or tenor. Solo that nobody else can hear me, or tenor, which is 10 or 12 miles away. So anyway, welcome to Sidetrack Sunday number 3 for September. Sorry for the phone. I was trying to get back in the position here. As you all know by now, I started Sidetrack Sunday back in March of 2020, and freaking allergy season again, the fall allergy season. Anyway, so I started Sidetrack Sunday back in March of this year, March 2020, and I was approached by Jason back in August. Saying, hey, have you thought about maybe expanding Sidetrack Sunday and going, multiple Sundays in a month instead of just doing the one? And I'm like, well, maybe. I said, what are you thinking? He says, well, maybe doing something similar to what we do on Track Tuesday, where they have one person a week, and if there's a fifth week, they bring a guest. I'm like, all right, so who are you thinking? And he's like, well, we got John from the Schuylkill River Valley. And I'm like, okay, well, who else? Well, how about Heath from Humanity Junction? I'm like, all right, well, there's the 4. And then we all get together, and then we start talking about the fact that, hey, man, we ought to do this on the 30th. And I'm like, I can't do it on the 30th, guys. That's not going to work. I'm going to be a little bit diplomatic about this. I've got something else going on, and I can't do the 30th. I said, how about the 6th? So that's when we decided to start this whole thing. So at this point, if you haven't figured it out, I'm picking on my buddy Jason the Train Freak here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get set for Sidetrack Sunday number 3 for September. And here's your host for the night, Jason the Train Freak.
All right, Ray, you ready?
Anytime, buddy, anytime.
All right, let me set this off to the side. I mean, this thing's like 15, 16 pounds. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to September's edition, or the 3rd week edition of Sidetrack Sunday. I'm your host, Jason the Train Freak. Along beside me, I have, oh, good, I'm pointing the right way. We got Ray with the Beauville and Newtown, and then we got John with the Schuylkill River Valley Railroad. Now, the reason why I've got these two guys on here, and I did invite our other cohort, Heath from Humanity Junction, but he decided that he's going to do other things instead for us. So it's not bad.
We'll flog him later.
Yeah, we'll flog him later. But basically, we all came up with an idea of, getting the community together as far as our show. And I'm going to get to the individual highs in just a minute. But, when Ray introduced John, Ray gave John's introduction, just like he gave mine. And he also gave Heath one. Well, if you haven't picked up on it, each one is a little bit different. There's a reason for that. We decided that we're going to throw in a contest, and we're giving away a couple of cars. I've got one in N-scale, one in HO, that are not decaled yet. And I'm actually going to decal them tonight. For someone who can guess which intro is correct. And there's still one more intro to hear, and that's next week's on Ray's live stream. So there's 4 versions. And then, whoever can guess it or guess the correct version, we'll do a drawing out of those 2. So for N-scale and HO. So other than that, I guess I'm going to get to doing this. So I've got Ray and John here kind of keeping the eyes on the chat for me, but let me go ahead and start throwing in some highs in there, and I'm probably going to have to work my way backwards. I see Cousin Vinny. I see Marty M. Of course, Heath from Humanity Junction. We got Brian and Mike from Crossed Anchor Railroads. We have Anthony from the Georgia Sunbelt. We've got JD, Grandpa Rails. We've got Joe Rader in the house. Randall Ellison. And I'm scrolling up. And let's see, who else do we have here? We got Ian from Lehigh River Subdivision. And
Pasco just came in.
who? Chasco came in.
Pasco.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, and we got Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider, with all of his German trains, which is really cool in my opinion.
Did you mention the guys from Crossed Anchors?
I did. I mentioned both Brian and Mike.
Okay.
I've got a guy here named Dr. Jerry D. That's the first time I've seen him, so welcome. Let's see. I don't think there's anyone else.
John Arthur just came in.
All right. John Arthur, welcome, my man. And we got Haystack. And I think that covers everyone. So, now, for y'all who got to see the preview, John is the one who created these. These are the actual decals that are going to go on the hopper car. Now, I know he printed a lot of extra because I'm going to use some of these in the future, or in case if I screw up like I always do. So, I had him make,
Never happened.
Yeah, it always happens. That's one of the things about this hobby. And then, okay, Heath, I'll make myself big just for you.
It's one of the things that we just learned on the bridge guys, Jason, so
And then here's the N scale, which I will tell you, I'm a little intimidated on the N scale. I've decaled plenty of HO scale cars and locomotives in the past, but this is a first-time attempt for me in N scale. So I'm a little intimidated, but I'm going to go ahead and do both now. Before I get started, I want to show all the different materials you need. The first thing, you got to have the cars, right? And I went ahead and took the trucks off. On this one, I left the couplers alone, but I did go ahead and take the trucks off, and there is a reason for that. The next thing you need is, I'm going to hold this up to the camera if my light don't shade it out. You know what? Let me switch to the other camera. It might look better. Oh, come on now. There we go. Yeah, that's right. How about that? That's a good view. Okay. Gloss coat. Anytime you apply decals, you always spray a gloss coat on whatever you're decaling. It's supposed to make the surface a lot smoother and more relaxed. All right. And then, of course, after I finish the decaling, you got to finish it off with dull coat. So that way you don't have a brand new shiny car. That's like over shiny like old Bachmans. So Ray knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you need, if you're going to do it yourself, get some decal paper. Now I have not used this paper yet, so I'm curious to see how this works. So this is either going to be a make or break from Micromark. So just keep that in mind. Solvaset. This is what adheres your decals to your rolling stock or locomotives or whatever you're decaling. Definitely got to have some Solvaset. Looks like we got Epic Railroad coming on in. Welcome. All right. And of course, an X-Acto knife. And actually this set here, I did not even pick up at a hobby shop. This came from an auto parts store of all places. So I don't know if y'all have O'Reilly's auto parts up in y'all's area, but I want to say I paid like $10 for this set of like 15 blades in this. And it's got like a really, really good, comfortable grip. So, I thought that wasn't a bad deal. All right, this one here, you can either have an option. You can either use a small paintbrush like this one here, or you can use the tweezers for your decals. Last but not least, you're going to want a bowl of some type and water. And this is not fresh drinking water. This is from the tap. So, and that's because that's where you're going to set your decals in, is to put them in the water to get the paper separated. And
James Galton just came in. Just wanted to say hi to him real quick. Hi, James.
Hey, James. Welcome on here. All
I'm
right.
glad you're keeping up, John, because I'm watching the video.
I thought that was your job, right? JT1's here. Hi, JT1.
So I'm going to try to adjust this camera a little bit. Oh, yeah. Definitely use like a foam cradle. If you don't have a foam cradle, a really soft bath or dish towel will work. You know, something to put your rolling stock or locomotive on. You don't want it on a hard surface. So I just brought that just to kind of demonstrate. And also that's good at getting excess water off of your paintbrush too. And then of course you want something that you can cut, you know, with an X-Acto knife. Hey, JT1, welcome.
And Mike McCarville just stopped in. Hi, Mike.
All right, Mike McCarville, welcome. All right.
The A-crate foam works pretty good too. That's what I used. This is the same type of stuff that you got there, so that helps too. Like you said, you just don't want it on a hard surface.
Right, and my cross anchor guys, I know they would recognize this because this is actually designed for O scale to put in the stuff upside down, and then you would have this little tray here for parts. But it actually works pretty good for HO and N and Z as well, because you can see I've got, you know, up there, and I'm going to try to adjust my camera. You can see where I put the N-scale trucks off to the side. So first thing I'm going to do is very carefully, and I'm left-handed, by the way, is try to cut these decals out close to the decal, because you don't want too much excess. It's okay to have some, but you don't want like a whole bunch.
Epic Railroad, I believe they are. They're from Micromark. I believe they are water slide.
Yes, these. If I read the instructions correctly, keyword correctly, they are supposed to be water slide. Some of the decals, and I think I'm trying to remember who makes these, but they typically come with like a blue background. Oh well, it's my train of thought has left the station where it's derailed one or the other.
If any suggests you use a straight edge, Jason.
A straight edge?
Yep.
I mean, that could work. I mean, I've never used a straight edge. And when you're doing something kind of round, like Ray's logo, it's kind of hard to use a straight edge.
Well, sure.
Yep. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron Rice is here. How you doing, Ron?
Now, if these decals become a flop, I'm definitely going to be hollering at Ron to get us some decals. So, all right. I mean, this is working quick. I can see where the decal, I'm going to move this over here closer. I mean, look at that. The decal is literally already separated from the paper.
Wow.
That is much quicker than I anticipated. So, all right. Here comes the fun.
Hey, Dwayne from Dwayne's Fork and Spoon.
Hey,
Welcome, Dwayne.
Welcome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paintbrush wet and kind of get it, you know, where it's a little more of a tip. And the way that I do it, and I know this is kind of away from the camera, is I try to roll the decal on. Yep, and there's my girls barking in the background. All right, so you see I pick the decal up, and I'm gently going to lay it on the car. And as I lay it, I'm taking my the paintbrush, and I'm trying to make sure that I get all wrinkles and the water pressed out of it. And one thing you can do is take that brush and, try to dry it on that towel to get more of the water up, because it will actually soak up that water. And it looks like my decals is trying to curl up a little bit. Looks like the paint's trying to chip off too. Like I said, I've never used these decals from Micro Mark, so this is a first attempt for me. Typically, I'd use some other stuff, but just to kind of give you an idea. And it'll probably look a little better once I get the Solvaset on it, but I have to wait for that water to air dry first. So while I'm waiting for that one to air dry, I'm going to go ahead and do the next logo. And these are one of those that you just really can't use a straight edge.
Yeah. For once, I'm not a square.
Wah, wah.
I can't believe anybody called you a square, Ray.
Hey, have you been watching the bridge build? Come on.
All right. So, you can put it right there on my hand. And you see that's not perfect, but because these are clear decals, I don't have to be completely perfect. All right. So I'm just going to drop it in. And eventually that water is going to separate. Or the water is going to separate the decal from the cardboard.
This is going to be a first. It'll be the first time I've seen my logo on anything other than a piece of paper or on a live stream.
Right. Well, and I'm sure some people are asking, well, why did y'all choose AFC hopper cars? Well, my thoughts were, when we discussed this, is everybody who does something custom, it's always a box car. How many people out there do custom hoppers? Especially if it's like a YouTube channel giveaway or something.
Right.
And basically what I'm doing is just trying to push the water away from the edge of the decal to kind of help it dry a little faster. And so the printer that I used, I've got a Kyocera Ecosys M6535 CIDN copier. So these are actually... this is a laser print. Yes, Michael, I have already went ahead and gloss coated both of these cars. So these already have received their gloss coat. And I actually gave them 2 coats of gloss just to make sure that it was a full coverage.
Dwayne's fork and spoon, never square, a little bent maybe. Thanks, Dwayne.
All right. And see, it still looks like it's trying to curve up in that top side, but like I said, I think once the decal dries and I get that Solvaset on there, it should help. All right, Ray, here's your logo.
One of the things that I've seen, and I'm not sure if it applies with these or not, you guys are more familiar with the decals than what I am. I really haven't decaled anything. I know I've seen people use in the past, I've seen them use a paper towel to soak up the extra water, and I'm not sure if that's something that would help in this situation or not.
Out of my experience, I've never really had it to help.
Okay.
And I will tell you, this decal is a little trickier to work with because it's like rolled up under, so I'm trying to get my brush up under it.
Of course, it's Ray's logo.
Randall Ellison, who made the decals for you? Actually, I think John, you went ahead and put them together, and then he just printed them out on the decal paper, correct?
Yeah, I created the images, and Jason printed them out on a color laser printer.
There you go.
In there, I'm actually having a scrap.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. Like, as soon as I started moving it, the toner wanted to come off. So.
Brian, Excuse me, Jason. Brian, I designed them on using Photoshop. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Sometimes you have to deal with the stuff coming apart. There's been, even the manufacturer decals. I'm still trying to think of that company that makes them. I've got like 4 or 5 sets out there in the garage where my train, layout's located. But I can't remember the name of that company. They're pretty big. I think it's like micro decals or something like that.
Mike, Jason printed them on a color laser printer.
Yes. Now, John, now you see why I told you to make a whole bunch. Now, if you go look at, my channel, there's a header that's got a cotton belt F7 unit that's Black Widow. That's actually one of the locomotives that I ended up re-decaling because Bachmann did not make that model prototypical. I basically had 2 options, both the cotton belt and the SP. They had, units in the Black Widow. But the SP always had 2 headlights. Their second headlight was the upper half of the front door. Cotton Belt never had a second headlight. So when Bachmann made the model, they made it as a SP unit, but with only 1 headlight. So it was either add the headlight or scrap the SP, logo on the front and Southern Pacific on the side. And I re-decaled, a total of 4 units as cotton belts. All right, Ray, we're going to try this one more time.
Brian, Jason got the paper from Micromark.
Wow, that one wanted to curve all the way around. Yes. Yes, it came from Micromark. Oh, there we go. That one took that time. Now I just got to get it angled.
The angle of the dangle.
That's right. Angled and position is what is the key. It's like sometimes you try to adjust it and then it over adjusts. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of brush the excess water away so it will air dry.
Thanks, Dwayne.
See, a little bent. This actually looks a whole lot better on camera than it does right in front of me.
I hear that a lot.
Because, like, I'm looking at it and it's like really dark colored, but I see it on the camera and it's like really bright. And I'm like, holy smokes.
Jason, Heath wants to know how you know you're putting the decal in the correct place.
That's a good question, Heath.
There you go, Heath. Put him on the spot.
Yep.
And Mike McCarroll wants to know, do you find it easier to place the decal without sliding it off the backing paper? He finds that causes issues with the decals folding over on themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I've had more issues with the decals ripping when it comes off the backing paper. And a lot of times when I'll put, the decals in the water, the backing paper sinks to the bottom. So actually your decal's floating on the top.
Okay.
Now, and it could be because I'm putting the decals in there, right side up and not upside down. I've seen some people put it in upside down, but they'll have like tweezers that they can actually grab it and then lay it on. I've ordered some tweezers from Micromark and they're on back order still. So, but I was, hoping to test that method. All right, on to my decal.
Yeah, I said that I haven't decal. The last thing I actually put a decal on was the Union Station that I have that obviously is not on the layout yet. It was on the old layout. It is not on this one yet, but I need to go back and redo that because when I did that one, I didn't know about the microsol and the microset stuff to begin with, and also the lettering that Walter supplied with that was a gold color, and it doesn't really show up that well against the gray building. So it's one of those things I'll go back and fix when I actually get to doing scenery on the monster behind me.
Right. I'm gonna bring this a little closer so that way y'all can see this in action.
Randall says that was the wrong answer. You were supposed to say, "I'm just that good."
No. Hey, it's always better to be lucky.
That's right. That's what my father always told me.
That's what I say when I'm bowling.
Hey, I used to say that all the time when I bowled league.
Better to be
It's been
lucky.
years. So I know, hopefully, when we meet up at Strasbourg next year, if the showstopper's still not show-stopping, we might be able to find some time to go hit up one of the alleys nearby, and you can kick my butt. So,
A righty versus a lefty. This ought to be interesting.
yeah. All right. So y'all see how the paper just fell to the bottom. I don't know if y'all saw that or not.
Yeah.
But the way that I try to get them is I get them on one side. Yeah, come on now. Of course, mine's wanting to be difficult. It's trying to run from me.
Well, you are the train freak.
That's right. Now, when I lay it out, I'm actually spinning the paintbrush away from the decal, and that's supposed to help it get like a better pull, but I might have to end up scrapping this one too because it did roll under. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and scrap that one. I think I got one of them too close to a letter.
Dr. Jerry D says he's not decaled anything since 1978.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm going to put this one right in the middle. Now, it does kind of curve up, but if you watch it, you'll actually see the backing, after a few seconds, the backing will fall off, and it just sinks right to the bottom.
Yeah, see, now I've always done it the way that Mike McCarville suggested, with the backing paper still on it and slide it off. I've never seen this technique before.
This is the guy that owns the hobby shop. This is how he taught me. Wow. And, I mean, he's been 30, 40 years in the hobby.
Okay.
And, of course, he does O-scale. The hobby shop does all different size scales, but as far as like his personal preference and his personal layouts, right, he does 3-rail O-scale like crossed anchors.
Okay. Well, Anthony Dodge pointed out that everybody has different techniques, and what works for one doesn't work for somebody else.
That's true. That's like you can ask 10 different, hobbyists, how do you do this? And you're going to get 10 different answers.
Probably more like 15.
Yeah.
Amanda Wilson says, "Watch out for you. You're a lefty."
Yeah, that's my better half over there.
I figured that.
Yeah. All right. It's actually fixing to fall because I'm watching it starting to bubble out. It's like watching paint dry.
So you brought your better half in here to make sure we stay in line, huh?
No, I think she's just trying to make sure I stay in line.
Oh, I thought it was because Ray was here.
Ray, you are the one who brought up the bowling pin.
That's all right. Grandpa's still bringing up the flogging, so it's.
Yeah, but Heath's not here. It's not as much fun.
Yeah.
No, he's picking on Heath in the chat, so it's
This one here is actually kind of curling up, even with it was still on the paper. Like Ray's second logo, I mean, it came out perfect.
Fred Wild, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
No, well, wait a minute there, Heath. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jason. You said my name and perfect in the same sentence. That doesn't work.
No, I said your logo. I didn't say you.
Tom's Trains and Things just stopped in. Hi, Tom.
Oh my goodness. The thing of it is, and not the side. Well, of course, it's sidetrack Sunday, but it's one of the things that we even brought up at one of the bridge guys is the fact that you guys over here in chat. This is the reason why stuff like we do things like this get done. It makes things so much nicer. It really, really does. When you've got the backing of the community like we do, it just makes things so much more fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, sure. It's really the reason that we do this stuff. It wouldn't be fun at all if it wasn't for the people in chat.
That's it. Did you ruin another one?
Third time's a charm, right? Probably not in my case.
Well, I printed 7 of his logo, right? So he's got a few more here.
Yeah, but I got to use at least one on the other side. No, actually, I don't. No, you're right.
You don't.
I've got 7 chances.
Yeah, you only get one side, Jason.
Hold on. No, you printed off 14.
That's the end scale.
Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Hold on. I know the camera can't see it. There we go.
All right, if you say so.
So I've got plenty of screw up opportunities.
I'm just glad that you're doing it, not me, because I would go through all 14 of them. I might get one right.
Hey, let me tell you, when I was doing those F7A units, man, I was sweating bullets because I only had one attempt left on the cotton belt name. Ooh.
You are using the HO scale decals, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's the ends.
Okay.
Right there.
Hey, Sparky 107. Welcome aboard, Dave.
Hey, Sparky.
Hey, Sparky.
I'm sure that there's been other folks that have kind of popped in here. I'm trying to keep up with everybody in there. James Galton's in here. JT1's in here. Good day, folks. Randall Ellison. Randall Ellison, I have an Athearn tank car and it has decals on just one side. Well, if it be anything like my layout, you just go ahead and make sure that the undecaled side stays towards the backdrop. Nobody will ever see it.
Hey, you could turn into a Santa Fe because Santa Fe cars was painted one way on one side and a different way on the other side. I've got a few of their box cars like that. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not a big fan of this decal paper. I'm not a fan at all.
Hey, Possum Bayou just stopped in. Hi, Rusty.
Because like soon as I pick it up, it's like it's rolling up big time. So how did I get so good off of yours on the second time, and I'm struggling on mine?
That's because it's yours.
I guess. I mean, the toner. All right, I'm gonna try it that other way then, because I actually gave myself more room that time. It might be the crazy tap water too.
That was one of the things I remembered hearing too, is using distilled water, I think it was, or not. Well, I actually water without any minerals in it usually helps.
Ron Bright suggests try just wetting one and then set it aside for a couple seconds and then try to slide it off the paper.
Okay. I can try that. And see if it works.
Your better half is picking on you, Jason. Do I need to sit with you like I do during football season? I'm not allowed to leave the recliner because when I would leave, we would start losing.
Hey, that is a proven fact until our team just got to crap.
Oh, that sounds like my brother. He's got a specific chair in his house that he sits in for different sports. Nobody else is allowed to sit in that seat. Only he is.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jerry D says, as he remembers, he used to use warm water.
Yeah, it's a little cool. Let's see what happens if I try to.
Heard of using warm water.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now let's see if I can get this to come out.
There you go.
Heath wants to know if this is going to be a 7-hour stream so we can watch you finish one car.
Well, at the rate I'm going, I mean, the toner's coming off. Hey, I said at the beginning, this is going to be a make or break for Micromark. I mean, that way there, I mean,
paper.
Do what?
I never used their paper. I never tried it.
This is a first time for me. And so I got to tell you a funny story about yesterday. You know, don't you just love it when you try to find something, you can never find it, and then later when you no longer need it, it comes up?
Sure.
Out of all the things that I was looking for and I could not find, and it's a good thing that I had a friend, you know, the guy at the hobby shop, he's close friends with me. He actually went up there and met me on a Sunday morning just for this stuff here. So if I would have found this stuff yesterday and watched me find my other bottle in the next couple of days, I would have actually tested these out and I would have decided, well, maybe we don't need to do it. But I mean, look at Ray's. I mean, and I haven't even solved it on there yet.
Right.
I mean, that turned out pretty decent too.
Heath asked if you dull coated the decals before putting them in the water.
No, I did not. I don't think you're supposed to.
I always did when I did decals on mine.
Well, I can real quick.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
I might get high in the process.
Dr. Jerry D suggesting the same thing.
Okay. Well, I might get a little high in the process, but it'll be all right.
Hey, I've only been sniffing glue for the past month, so we're all right.
Yeah, but Ray, you're no different, man.
All right. Woo, man. There's something about the clear coats from testers that the smell is so much stronger than the regular colored paint for some reason. Like, I don't get it. Okay, so we're going to try that. Now, while I'm waiting on paint to dry, I guess I can go ahead and put a little bit of Solvaset. I'm going to start with Ray's logo first. So I'm just actually going to put like a drop on there. Let me move my bowl out of the way without making a mess. So I've got a drop of the Solvaset on there. And I'm just going to kind of dab over it. Okay. And something else you can do is you can always come back with your X-Acto and poke little bitty holes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard a pin will do the same.
Yeah.
Just if you have any type of air bubbles or anything like that in there, you can go ahead and poke it and
resolve a set it.
Yep, let the solder set get up underneath of there, and it'll set it against the car.
Right.
Dr. Jerry D wants to know what type of laser printer.
It is a Kyocera Ecosys M6535CIDN. So it's actually a color copier, but it's laser.
Okay.
If nothing else, Jerry D, to be honest, if you didn't catch that, I'm sure at the end of this we gotta go ahead and drop it in the yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing because I didn't catch all that.
Yeah, down in the description for the video, we could probably drop it in there, or you could even go ahead and leave it as a comment later.
I'm actually typing it in right now.
All right, there we go.
That works.
You're welcome, hun.
Heath, I don't know if how a photo printer would do. I used to have one, but it kind of died on us years ago, so I don't have one anymore. So I used to have a Dell 966, I think it was, that would do photos. Of course, you actually had to have the photo ink for it, and that stuff was expensive.
Okay, so
you printed out 2 or 3 pictures, it was done.
So yeah, this is what MicroMark says, and I'm skipping all the way down to right here where it says, well, you barely see it, but apply decal. And you can see MicroMark right there. So this is their fault, or it's Heath's fault, one of the two.
It's got to be his fault.
Yeah, it's Heath's fault. Blame it on Heath. All right, it says decals are best applied to a glossy surface. Apply glossy paint or spray a clear gloss coating on your model before applying decals, which I've already done. And Amanda can be my witness on that because I did it outside. Carefully cut out the decal from the sheet and soak it in a cup of plain water for about 1 minute or until you see the film start to separate from the backing paper. Carefully test to see if the decal film has released from the backing paper, then slide the decal into position on your model. Gently blot the extra water and allow to dry. For best results, use decal finishing system to apply decals. It helps decals conform to irregular surfaces and hides decal film, making your artwork appear to be painted on the model rather than applied by decal. Be aware that large decals may wrinkle when setting and softening solutions are applied. If this happens to your decals, splice together the smaller decals to make up your final image. And the top coats of a fixative spray are required in all cases to minimize curling and to protect the decal, which AKA would be your dull coat. So, hopefully everyone got that, because I know I am a fast reader. All right.
Not as fast as the guy from FedEx years ago.
Well, I'm not trying to be like, the end of the car commercials with their... Man, that would be tough.
Damn, Heath.
Heath, are you challenging my college education? We're from the South. We take the OU out of everything we say. Instead of you all, we say y'all. And instead of the South, we say the Sata. I stubbed my toe. Chuh. All right. I actually have to give credit to a deceased comedian. If you know who that is, that was actually Mitch Hedberg's joke. but it's still funny.
Yeah, we've noticed, Heath. Like I've said before, my videos, I just leave it in because if I went ahead and cut the stuff out, the blooper reel would be longer than the stuff that I actually record.
And see, since I put that Salva set on here, it's like very fadey.
Well, that's okay. It gives a worn appearance.
Well, I don't know. It's like what I'm seeing on camera and what I'm seeing with my own eyes is like two separate things.
I was going to say, because what you got on camera doesn't look bad at all, to be honest.
No, it looks fine to me.
It's like if I get the light off of it. Of course, I would be touching the one in the middle that ain't solved yet. Good job, Jason. Okay. I'm going to drop this one in there. All right. Let's see what happens if I put a little bit of stuff on here.
Hey, John, I'm not sure if that was direct. Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yep.
I wasn't sure which John he was talking to. There was a few of them in here.
Yep.
There's always a few of us.
Yeah.
Now, this paper here actually says it's for both inkjet and laserjet. So I don't know if it's going to work any better one way or another.
That's a good question, Heath. I was wondering the same thing.
And this way it's acting like it don't want to separate. All right, I'm just going to do it the way I normally do. Get in there. Get all that excess water up. But yeah, I have seen people use like paper towels and whatnot.
And it's one of those things, Jason, like we talked about a little bit ago. You ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers too. You know, it's
right.
You know, it's there's different ways to do it, and different manufacturers, you know, they want it one way or a different way. And sometimes I've even heard, and I don't know, like I said, I haven't decaled that many things, but I've heard that even the manufacturer of the building or the car, there could be different ways to put the stuff on because each manufacturer's plastic is a little what am I looking for? The chemical composition of the plastic is different.
Right.
So what works for one may not work for another.
And you're absolutely right.
You know, it would be nice if it was uniform, but it don't work.
That's kind of like this one here. I got a big old air bubble in the middle, and as soon as I take it out, it wants to all the toner wants to chip off of it. So
Ron Bright suggests that when you wet it, hold it a couple seconds more, then sit it on the black foam. It will slide, and then put it on.
okay. Oh, come on. Stop that. Oh, almost perfect. Hey! I just got to get that one position. And I have to make sure I leave enough room.
For the reporting marks.
That's right. So speaking of the reporting marks, we actually got real lucky. Because I am one of those that, this is what my 7th, 8th layout I'm building right now. Yeah, I built a handful, and of several different places, and I've always built them to rail fan. Just a big loop going around in a circle. And I started watching Eric Hall's channel, IMRO Tom, and I'm sure y'all have seen his channel. But he's an N-scaler, but his thing is operations. Having a purpose with your layout. The staging yards, bringing cars in and out. Where are they going? Where are they coming from? What are they carrying? Are they empty? Yada yada yada. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So when I started designing this layout, I went off of, I wanted operations, but I also wanted the capabilities that if, someone was to come over and they just want to see the trains run, make it to where they, it can be rail fan. So it's point to point with balloon loops on either end. So I can have continuous runs going back and forth. But also its main thing is for operations. And so the reporting marks, for Sidetrack Sunday, I was like, someone needs to look up, I was driving at the time, someone needs to look up STS and STSX, because a lot of your leased companies would have an X on the end of it, except for CSX. They're the only one that doesn't. And Heath, I want to say Heath is the one that looked it up for us, and comes to find out there was no railroad that actually used STS. So we got lucky to be able to use that. But there was a company that did use STSX. So that's why when I put the reporting marks on here, it's going to have STS and then 2020, which is for this year. And then we plan on doing one of these every single year. Or that's my goal anyways. But maybe as like anniversary cars to kind of celebrate, what we're doing as a panel or a group.
Hey, Jason, just one other thing I was thinking about a little bit ago, and this is something that John and Heath can chime in on as well. But
Sure.
I was just thinking, if anybody, instead of wanting to, let's say, run it on the layout, and instead if we have these meet and greets, like we're going to try and have, or like I'm not even going to say, we're going to have at Strasburg, and you're able to make it there. Bring a Sharpie and we'll sign it.
And if you don't want it on the top or the side, there's I forgot I'm on this camera. There's 4 hatches on the bottom. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, everybody does box cars. I wanted something a little different.
Yeah.
All right. And it looks like we're getting close to our hour. And yes, Sparky has posted the dates for Strasburg next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking forward to it.
Yep. I think everybody is. I mean, I know that there's a bunch of people, myself included, that have already basically blocked out the 21st through the 23rd of next year. Now, the funny thing of it is normally, and of course our league threw me a curveball. We started on the 28th of August for bowling. I know I'm going off on a tangent here. That's typical. But we actually started the Friday before Labor Day, figuring that nobody would want to bowl on Labor Day Friday. Well, because nobody's going anywhere, they were like, the heck with that. We'll just bowl on that Friday. Yep. We'll just bowl that Friday. So now we've got a 17-week first half and a 17-week second half, which actually moves our banquet, if we're able to have it, to May 15th, which is the week before Strasburg. So I won't have any of my stuff. Well, I'll have to make sure that I pack it before I go up to Strasburg. So that way Jason and I can bowl against each other.
Yeah. We gotta find some time to do that.
I'll have to see if I'm sure that there's a bowling alley somewhere in Lancaster. May not be one in Strasbourg, but I guarantee you there's one in Lancaster.
All right.
Tom's trains and things. You tangent? No way. How long have you known me?
Let's see
Oh.
here. I think I'm making some progress with this one.
We need to have something in Virginia. Mike, you know what? I've already talked about this before, and I think we may have actually mentioned it on the Bridge Guys, and that's the fact that, at least for me and Rick, I mean, we're only a couple hours away from each other. We were talking about even if things kind of eased up a little bit, we would probably try and maybe have a local gathering of folks. But I don't know if we'd actually be able to pull that off. It's getting a little, it's starting to, believe it or not, but it's already gotten cold over here. It's September and it's been in the 50s.
I'll tell you one thing. It was nice today. Like I was on the live stream with Heath earlier, and I was outside enjoying the cool weather. And then lo and behold, my neighbors has got to start cranking up the lawnmower. So, like, come on, guys. And where I live at, you know, it's like a subdivision in a way, but everyone is required to have at least 2.5 acres of land. So the houses are a little spread out. Man, I don't think I can get no better than that one. I mean, that's just about perfect.
That looks good. Then he says it's 104 in Phoenix.
And you can keep it, Vinny.
That's right.
Well, Vinny, at least y'all have a dry heat. Because let me tell you, when it gets 95 degrees here in Central Arkansas, I don't care how hot it is over in the Southwest. It is more miserable here because your sweat does not cool you off at all.
We're getting help from the community here, Jason. Chasco mentioned that there's a bowling alley in Strasbourg, and then Dr. Jerry D just said that there's the Red Pin Bar and Grill in Rocky Springs Entertainment Center in south of Lancaster. So there's a couple spots apparently.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I think I bowl now maybe once. No, I would say probably 2 or 3 times a year. So I don't bowl very often anymore. But I used to, before I got married, I was in 3 leagues simultaneously. And it was typically 2 handicap leagues and a scratch league, which for those who don't know the bowling terms of handicap and scratch, handicap leagues is based off of your average. And, you know, depending on what the basic average is that league sets, that's what your handicap's based off of. Most of the leagues I was in, they would go off of 200 pins, subtract your average, and then take 80% of that, and that's your handicap. But scratch leagues, whatever you bowl, that's what you got.
Yeah, right now I'm in the handicap league. It's 20. It's the difference of your average, or 200 minus your average, and then times 0.8, which is 80%. But the thing of it is, for me right now, I'm shooting 218, so I don't get any handicap.
You're probably getting negative handicap.
No, we don't do negative handicap.
Oh, well, y'all are nice then, because some of the leagues I was in, it would affect your team average, and you would get a negative.
It would have really helped the other night, though, with the guy that decided to shoot 803. His average is now up to like 237.
What always irritated me about the handicap leagues is some of those teams where their bowlers would start sandbagging on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That always got on my nerves.
You see, that's the thing. I mean, here it is. I'm the league president, and we don't have that because we're just out there to have fun. And
Yeah.
and most of the folks that are in that league, it's a family league. So there's competition, but it's not the cutthroat competition like I used to be in years ago. And you know what I'm talking about, Jason.
Yes.
Where there was nobody cheering for anybody else. You didn't, our league's a lot different. I mean, we actually start helping each other out. I mean, here it is. One of the guys on one of the other teams, he tells me Friday night, he says, "I want you to coach me," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So but like I said,
There was some
we
leagues, some of the leagues I was in, what they would do, and I know this ain't talking about trains or anything, but if one of your teammates was on a roll, that other team would take their time on purpose to try to cool you down. And I have ran into a lot of teams that would do that.
Yeah, we don't normally have that. Although I will sit back and wait for the other team to finish because I'm the anchor bowler, and when we get to the 10th frame, I usually let because I'm usually helping to keep score, so I usually let the other team finish up first, and then I'll go ahead and I'll go in. But that's just one of those things. It's more of to me it was more of a courtesy thing than trying to slow somebody down, especially if they were on a roll. Let them go. You start seeing somebody string 6, 7, 8 in a row. It's like I start telling my teammate, "Hey, back off. Let them go ahead, and if they're up, let them go. Don't get in front of them."
Well, it's not that they would do that. It's like
They
when
would
you
just
got a
purposely
team,
slow down. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
you got a team of 4 or 5, and it's just like they would take their time. So it's like you ran through your lineup, and then you're waiting on their second person to get up there and bowl.
Yeah.
And they would do that all the time. And it got on my nerves. Now, the coolest league that I bowled in, and that was the last year I bowled, I did what was called a travel league.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Arkansas, there was a group of bowling alleys that got together, and we didn't bowl every week, but it was like every other week. And we would go from house to house to house to house and, swap houses and stuff. But we would bowl 2 sets to make up for that every other week type thing. But that was a lot of fun.
John Arthur and Georgia Sunbelt have been going back and forth here. It sounds like they're pretty. Well, I know Georgia Sunbelt is south of me. He actually lives down where my daughter started college, down in St. Mary's County, Maryland. If anybody's familiar with the Patuxent Naval Air Station, that's down where he's near there. And John Arthur, I'm not sure where he's at, but
I think John Arthur is Virginia, maybe Virginia, North Carolina, somewhere over east.
Okay.
I can tell you this: the 2 people that I know that is the closest to me, one is Randall Ellison.
Okay.
He's up in Thayer, Missouri, which is just right on the other side of the state line from Arkansas. He's like 3-4 hours from me. And then the other one is Flying Crow. He's down in Longview, Texas. And, ironically, if I wanted to go visit him, I could catch Amtrak in Little Rock and, be there in Longview that morning. All right. Well, it looks like I'm only going to try to get this one side done. I think spraying the dull coat really, really, really helped. But it's like some of the toner is still trying to come apart.
Yeah, Mike from Crossed Anchors, I agree with that. And I've even mentioned that in some of my live streams because I know that Anthony from the Georgia Sunbelt, he's been wanting to come up here and help me out. And I know a few others that are in the area around here have been talking about it too. It was one of those things that I was mentioning in the TSG stream a little bit ago. I don't have any scenery on the layout yet, but it is operational. And of course, for me to do solo operations takes me about 6 hours. And if it weren't for COVID or the showstopper, I should say, we would have been. I would have had some folks over, and we could have seen exactly how long it's going to take. With a group of people, and I think I figured it out, and I think I've mentioned it before. It probably takes 6 or 7 people to actually operate the railroad, prototypically. And Jason, it's one of the things that you mentioned about the railroad that you're building. Mine's kind of done the same way. It's 2 loops, but I've got the option to be able to do point to point as well. So if I have people over that aren't railroad people, I can just go ahead, turn the thing on, let it run, and they can go, oh yeah, that's cute, and go about their business. But if I got people over that are actual trained people, then we can go into the operations side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Heath. There is a bunch of us over here.
Well, like I said, I mean, as far as hobby shops in the state, I think there's one up northwest Arkansas, up in the Fayetteville area, which, it's pretty populated up there because you got Walmart's headquarters. And the way Walmart operates is if you want to do business with them, you got to have some type of industry or some type of office up in that area of the state, or they will not do business with you. JB Hunt being one of them. And then, but I do know, like, the next town southwest of me, Jacksonville, there is a hobby shop there. And then the other one, the one that I go to, is like a 45-minute drive northeast of me. It's actually halfway between me and Randall. And that's the one that I typically go to. And that's the one that I had to go to this morning to get that Salva set. But as far as like railroad clubs, there used to be 2 of them. One of them, I think a lot of the people died off, so that one closed. And then the other one, they had a tree fall through the building and destroy the layout, and they just gave up. So there's not even a single railroad club in the state, which is sad.
Yeah, James, unfortunately, I hear you, and I know I know Anthony said, shut your mouth, but I have a bad feeling with as cold as it is right now in September, this winter is not looking good. This winter is not looking good. But yeah, I and somebody else, Dave BNSFN scale, Milwaukee was a hotbed for model railroading on YouTube that I've seen. Yeah, well, obviously Milwaukee, because Walthers is there, model railroader is there. There's a couple other things that are up there. I mean, that's always been a hotbed and for model railroading. We considered starting our own, but not a lot of modelers around us. Yeah.
Well, Ray, besides your logo and the one that I haven't put Salva set on, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of these. I'm not a big fan of this decal paper by any means. It's not like the stuff that the major manufacturers, make. But well, I know it's getting late, and I've been fooling with this for a while. I ain't even tackled the end scale yet, and that's sad. When I did those locomotives, it didn't take me near this long, nor that many attempts. So it's got to be the decal paper. Because, like I said, if you go back to, my main page, those cotton belt units, that was some of the first ones I've done. All right, I'm going to swap the camera. Man, they look real vivid on the camera versus what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I was going to say, from what I'm seeing on the camera, they look really good, but...
Yeah. All right, I'm going to hold it upright.
Yeah, I've forgotten one of the other things. Joe Rader is literally right around the corner from me. I mean, he's like 15 minutes down the road if he's that.
Now, Joe actually used to live and work out of that one town that I mentioned that has a hobby shop, Jacksonville. That's actually where the Little Rock Air Force Base is, and Joe said he used to work there a long, long time ago. So I know when Vinny mentioned about, the heat down in Arizona, I know Joe can be my witness when I say that the humid hotness is a lot worse than that dry hotness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So some of the other things that I did want to mention, and I kind of saved it for last for a reason. I'm going to slide us over to the side, and because I want to share a couple of tabs. I know Heath mentioned to y'all last week about, his Teespring store. So I would like to share with you mine. So I've actually got 2 line items. So I've got one that says I follow the Train Freak on YouTube, but I've also got some stuff that just says the Train Freak. And when I start doing my own individual contest again, like the 300 subscriber, which I know is getting really close, I'll probably throw in some of these in there. And then, because those are the die cut stickers. And then the other thing I would like to show, let's see if it'll let me do it from here. Ooh, did it? No, it says Teespring. So I got to change it. All right. Stop screen, share screen. I don't know how to go from screen to screen yet. I'm still learning the StreamYard stuff. But I also have a Patreon. Oop, let me scroll back up. Now, these 2 boxcars was actually at a state park. And this building's an actual museum. You actually get to walk in this boxcar and come out that one, which I thought was really, really cool. But as far as my Patreon goes, just being a $1 a month supporter, I will actually end up creating a slide at the end of all of my videos that I create, just listing all my supporters, no matter the level. Brakeman will actually get you some behind the scenes content, pictures and, links to videos of things that I'm actually working on that's not been posted. So it's kind of like a preview to everything. Conductor level will get you exclusive voting power in the future. And then also I have listed here a Patreon member contest. So all the money that I make off of my Patreon is actually just going to go back in the contest. So there will be some Patreon only ones. And then fireman and engineer is basically the same as the conductor, except for you get some swag out of it. After 3 months, if you're a fireman, you'll get a mug. And if you're an engineer, you'll get a mug and a t-shirt from my Teespring store. So, and I'll let you pick out which ones you want. So I just wanted to share those real quick with y'all. Other than that, I don't know if I want to fight this car anymore. Man, these decals. Ron, I might be giving you a call, man. John did a very, very good job making these things, so I have to really give him some major props on that. So, John, you did an excellent job. I do not think it's your design. I think it's the paper.
Well, thanks, Jason.
So, I mean, it seems like after I did dull coat them once that they did try to go on better. But even after dull coating, even the Sidetrack Sunday one, the toner's trying to chip off. So, it is what it is.
2618 showed up. Hey, John.
Well, hey, John. Late to the party, but better late than never. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've never used this decal paper before, and it's just like I said, it's one of those things. I'm gonna put y'all back to the side. That one turned out really good in my opinion, but I'm gonna hold it up a little closer where y'all can see. It looks like the toner right here where it says track. You can see where it's chipping away.
Now, was that one you dull coated first or not?
That is the one that I dull coated first.
Huh.
And the same with that one, you can see where the word freak is starting to chip away. Right. But that one, I haven't put Solvaset on the STS 2020 yet. So I'm still curious to see how that's going to work when I put that Solvaset on there. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever used these decals. And maybe I didn't let the water dry enough. I don't know. Decaling
Well,
is a very, very tedious and patient process.
and Ron Brights just said it's getting hard to find good paper nowadays.
And that could be it. So, and I mean, I might try to take them back off of there and redo them. Who knows? I mean, I'm very satisfied with the B&N logo. It's the our main one and the Train Freak. That's the logos I'm not real satisfied with. Which of course I know I haven't got to the other side yet to put yours and Heath's on there, John. And with it doing this way, man, I don't know if I really want to try to tackle the very, very little stuff. I don't know if it'll be easier or more difficult. But let me show you how much in depth John went on these. He did all of this little print right here, and he did it for both HO and N scale. And if I get my magnifying glass on there, and I'm going to try to do this with the magnifying glass. Let's see here. Oh, hit my microphone. All right, here we go. And I'm going to take my camera off so that way y'all can see. But every bit of that is legible if you get a good microphone on it or camera.
Jeez.
I mean, I know I'm having a hard time holding it still. There you go. But you can see it's all legible. Now the N scale, not so much, and that's because it's half the size. Granted. And my printer only does 600 by 600 DPI. Hey, John, it looks like Ron's got a question for you if you want to go ahead and answer it.
Oh yes, Ron. I did that in Photoshop.
And here's his N
Randall
scales.
just suggested that maybe it's the brand of Solvaset that's causing the chipping.
I beg to differ because I've used that Solvaset for years.
Okay.
So the Walther Solvaset decal setting solution, that's all I've ever used. So this is the only thing that's different compared to what I've used in the past. But yeah, this is the N scale. And you can see he did very, very good on these too. So, but yeah, like Ron Bright said, finding the good decal paper it's hard. It's really hard to do. So, but this might be something I might try to, do over some time. Maybe once I spray some dull coat on it, it might look a little better. Who knows?
Man, Mystic Southern just popped in.
Hey, Mystic.
Mystic.
That's just weird, Jason. I've never.
See, that's after I put the Solvaset on there. It's like, I don't know, it's like a rough texture. So I don't know if the Solvaset is maybe chipping away that dull coat. Maybe it needs more than one coat of the dull coat. But like I said, the ones that I used in the past, I never had to do that.
John 2618 suggested hitting it with gloss clear before the dull coat.
Are you talking about the decals, or are you talking about the rolling stop, John? Because I hit the rolling stop with a clear coat first.
Yeah,
Anthony from GSP said maybe the dull coat didn't dry.
That's very possible. I don't know. Like I said, I can try it again. Well, whoa, that's weird. I've got two decals that I don't know. That's weird. What the coat did on that one. I don't know. I'm thinking it's the paper. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. And it's his fault.
And it's Heath's fault. You're right, exactly.
Always his fault.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, other than that, that's all I've got. So I'm gonna go ahead and let.
Don't forget the contest. Don't forget the contest, everybody.
Yeah.
Uh,
Worst case, if I can't get these cars decaled right, I will get Ron to get me some better decals. But we will be giving some cars away no matter what. So we're gonna find some way to come through and break through adversity somehow.
Blame the guy not on the stream.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, Heath, you should have been up here, man. You had the invitation too, so you know. But
it's just like camp, Heath. You never fall asleep first.
That's right. And I know a lot of people that had to learn that the hard way.
The contest rules, Anthony. The contest rules are for our live streams in the month of September. Ray started out with an intro for each of us. He has one more when he does his live stream. Yeah. And the intros described how the expanded Sidetrack Sunday started. And each of them are a little bit different. So I posted a link for the contest entry form where you select whichever one you believe is correct. And from all the right answers, we'll then have a drawing to pick the winners.
Yeah, and don't forget that there is one more Sidetrack Sunday, and that is next week.
Right.
Right.
That is also, there are going to be a couple different things going on with that one. Number one, I will go ahead and give the fourth version of how the expanded Sidetrack Sunday got started. They also have the reveal of the bridge guys, the bridge reveals. And since I'm mentioning that, the episode 4 will premiere at noon next Sunday, and then of course Sidetrack Sunday will be at 8:00 Eastern. So, and then we'll, like I said, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about Sidetrack Sunday and how it got started one last time.
Where's the premiere, Ray?
The premiere is on Rick Bailey's channel at noon Eastern on Sunday. Episode 4, that is the last of the build, and then Sidetrack Sunday next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, will be the reveals of the bridges.
Okay, so Ron just mentioned that he uses gloss coat on laser decals, but for the apps, he uses a decal film coating. So I might try to hit those back up with clear coat then and see what happens.
Hey, Jerry D., I'm actually in Towson, Maryland. Southern Baltimore, well, not Southern Baltimore County, but Central Baltimore County.
Okay. Now, Ray, the other thing that we'll have you do on your channel is we got to explain how they can register.
Okay.
So, which I will provide you the link because instead of just anybody registering on one of the channels, I created a Google form that all 4 of us are going to end up sharing. And the main kicker is you have to be subscribed, not to one of us, but all 4 of us. You have to be subscribed to all 4. Otherwise, you're not eligible. And 3 more hours? Really? Holy smokes. I could do a decoder install, and that's what I was originally going to do tonight. But I don't know if I want to foobar that one up either. Because that one's a customer's.
Hey, hey, Jason, welcome to Sidetrack Sunday.
Yeah, I know, right? But back to that
John suggested that you try letting the decal dry for a couple of days and apply multiple applications of the setting solution. Then gloss on top of that, then the dull coat.
Worth a try. I will give that a try, John. I will definitely do that.
And Anthony is asking about the Google form.
Okay, so the Google form will not be released till on Ray's channel. And then everybody will have a week to register. And then Mr. John at the bottom here is actually going to reveal the winner in some form or fashion of how he sees fit. So, but the Google form, all it is you have to register with your email, and that's so that way one person can't do multiple entries. You put in your YouTube channel name, you choose which intro you feel like is the correct one, and then the last question is HO scale or N scale. That's it. And then from there we can figure out who's eligible for the prizes.
Dave BNSM scale, it's me, John, the train freak, and the other one is Heath, who actually did last Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the other one. Humanity Junction.
John 2618, I think Heath is wanting me to go for another 3 hours. I'll tell you this: if I was to go another 3 hours, it's not y'all I would have to deal with. It's my better half. So
No decoders tonight.
Yeah, no decoders tonight. And I've got 3 locomotives that this customer needs decoders put in. So, and all 3 are heritage units, 1 NS and 2 UP heritage units, which is pretty cool. So, more flogging happens. Well, Heath ain't here to receive it, though. That's the problem. But, all right, y'all. Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I haven't had dinner yet, and it's getting late, so. But guys, I appreciate it. I wish it would have went a little better than I anticipated and I hoped. But hey, it's Sidetrack Sunday for a reason, or Scattered Derail Sunday in my case. So, all right, y'all. Well, y'all take care. Be safe out there, and happy railroading.
Have a good night, all.
See y'all.
Take care.